And while others are arriving, for those of you that are new to this, I'll give you my quick sort of rundown. Like, what are we doing here? So the idea is once a day we get together and we hit the pause button on life out there, and we just choose to stimulate certain subjective experiences that we want, that are favorable for us, that feel positive, and just trusting, the laws of neurobiology and neuroplasticity. And if we keep doing this day in and day out, it just gets easier and easier for us to live from that place, because the structure and function of our brain and nervous system adapts and changes. So hopefully that puts what we're about to do into context. Hi everyone. Okay, so it's 12:01. I'm gonna get started. It's Attention Training Tuesday, and one of my favorite mantras, if you will, is people are just like the weather. So people, on the one hand, are sometimes the greatest source of joy and meaning and purpose in our life, and they can also be the greatest source of frustration and even irritation, or just negativity in general. And so what I mean with people are just like the weather is we have about as much control over what other people are going to do or say as we have over the weather, right? I wake up in the morning, I look outside. If it's windy and cold, I just put on a sweater, or I go get my jacket before I head outside. I don't take it personally. I don't sit there and think like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the weather is doing this to me again. I just realize like there's nothing I can do about the weather. It is what it is, and I'm going to adapt and sort of flex with what's happening there. And yet, for some reason, when it comes to other people in our life, we have this narrative or this idea that, well, they should know better. They shouldn't say those things, or they shouldn't do those things because, um, again, we just assume that there's a sense of like agency, and that they should know better. So I've found that for me, if I can remind myself and say this person's behaving the way they're behaving, probably for reasons that are way beyond my comprehension or understanding in this moment. And my choice is to focus my attention on what are the things that I can do to simply adapt to what's going on. Then I'm back in sort of in my business and able to adjust accordingly. It doesn't mean I'm condoning. It doesn't mean I'm excusing or saying anything about their behavior other than the fact that I don't have control over it. I'm going to make my choices and move from there. So the key ingredient there is attention. Like, where's my attention going when this person does or says what they're, whatever it is that they're doing? And usually what happens is I focus on it, and at the exclusion of everything else. And my life in that moment becomes all about what they're doing or not doing, and that can be the trap. So the other side of the attention coin is paying attention to all of the other things that are happening that I may not be aware of in that moment. So my goal for today's meditation is to focus on that second piece and just notice what it's like to be able to shift the locus of our attention on different aspects of whatever is happening in the situation. And just see if that awareness creates some relief, or some greater sense of agency on our end. So let's start by closing our eyes, and as we always start these meditations, is just focusing on the present moment. Everything that's happened this morning is done. It's just a memory. It's just neural activity. We can't change it, and that's okay. And then everything that we're anticipating is coming our way this afternoon hasn't happened yet. And that too is something that we don't have control over. And so right here, right now, The intention is to simply focus on what's happening in this moment. And it can be really simple. It can be as simple as just sitting, breathing, noticing. See if you can focus attention on the simplicity of reality in this moment. Noticing how breath comes and goes in the body. Noticing how the body knows exactly what to do. It doesn't need us to be involved in the in breath or the out breath. It just does it. And all we need to do is just notice. So just focusing our attention on noticing and witnessing. While that's really simple, it can be pretty challenging to do. If the mind is busy, the mind is anticipating, the mind is remembering. So just allowing all of that to happen while noticing that now we're just sitting, just breathing. And in order to do that, what we're in essence doing is we are focusing attention in a certain way. We're choosing to focus attention on an object of our choosing, which in this case is the present moment, rather than letting the mind wander and focusing our attention on all of the other things that are, in some sense, not happening right now. Wherever our attention goes is what becomes our reality. And we can choose to shift our attention to memories. So if you can bring to mind a memory of a situation in which you were interacting with someone and it felt a bit distressing, maybe confusing, or elicited some strong reactions. Just notice what happens when attention fixates on them and the idea that they should or shouldn't be doing what they're doing. Notice how that has a tendency to become the only truth in that moment. This is what's happening. And the mind is fixated on them. And then remembering that people are just like the weather. They're just doing their thing. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot, sometimes they're windy and predictable. See if you can shift the locus of attention back to self and just notice that while all of that is happening out there and they're doing what they're doing, forget connection with self. And focusing attention on this question of, given what they're doing and given what they're saying, who do I want to be in this moment? Can I focus on my behaviors and my responsivity to what they're doing or saying? And notice what it feels like to shift attention from them back to this internal sense of agency and self. And all we're doing there is we're just flexing attention. We're redirecting attention away from out there to back in here. And then from here, we can make choices that are congruent with what matters to us rather than what they're doing. So we're just shifting from focusing on external factors to returning back to letting go of all that and focusing on what's going on for us on the inside. And this is where we open up the field of possibility. There's so many things we can choose to do once we reconnect with paying attention to what matters to us and how we want to be, so with choice and agency. And take a deep breath in through the nose. Long exhale through the mouth, relaxing the shoulders, the jaw, forehead. Hold the exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do a deep inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. Some shoulders and the belly and the hands. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just keep your eyes closed and just rest for a moment. Paying attention inward. And then imagine going through the rest of your day, feeling connected to this sense of attention on self and values and what matters, and then moving through the world from that place. Open your eyes, back to the session. Hope that was helpful. We're out of time. I feel like I could have kept on doing this for a while. So if anyone wants to touch base, I'll stick around for a few. Otherwise, I hope to see you tomorrow.